BLUF Gaming here with a design for a simple two-track intersection. This design allows for trains on the horizontal rail to go from right to left and on the vertical rail to go from top to bottom. If you need them to go different directions, just move the lights appropriately. Trains only obey lights on the right-hand side of the rail they're on. If you needed this to be two-way, then all you have to do is pair up another light on the opposite side of each track for the directions you need to be two ways. But you'll need to do something to make sure the trains don't run into each other, and we'll cover that in a later video. That's your bottom line up front. If you want to see the details of how this works and an explanation of how these lights operate, just watch the rest of the video. Let's build this from scratch and then talk about how it works. Normally, you can start anywhere with a piece of rail and just take it wherever you need it to go. But I already have a system nearby set up so that we know trains running through. When it turns blue, you've connected. And now for the cross. There we go. If we run it like this, and there are no lights anywhere on these two systems, we're going to get crashes. So what we need to do is make sure that we do have lights and that they're the proper kind. I'm going to assume that these rails are one direction only. You have trains going just in one direction on this one and just in one direction on this one. In this case, the horizontal rail has trains going from right to left. The vertical rail has trains going from top to bottom. Trains only pay attention to the lights that are on the right side of the rail. So before a train comes through from right to left, let's make sure he has a light telling him whether or not the coast is clear. Now let's do it for the top to bottom. And this would work. You see they're red right now. That's because I have trains elsewhere on this rail system that aren't quite cleared out of the way yet. And what you'll want to do in a situation like this is make sure that not only entering the intersection you have lights, but also right after you exit. So let's do that this direction as well. And the reason we do this is because without this light right here, a train could pass through and it could completely be on this side of the vertical rail. But this light is still going to say red. The reason is because this light looks along its path from this one to the next light. That forms a block. This light's doing the same thing, and because these blocks cross, they all read off of each other. So anytime there's a train in this block, so anywhere between this light and this light, or anywhere between this light and this light, if there's a train there, this light will turn red and it won't allow more trains to come in from the right. So if I don't have this light, it's going to look from here all the way to the next light. And if there's anything in it, it's going to turn red, and so will this one. That means it's going to take a while for that other train to clear the next light and let this one turn green and this one turn green. So you could have a train waiting right here that could pass if it was allowed and be perfectly safe, but isn't being allowed because of some other train further down the line. That's why we're going to place that light. This allows for trains from the top to bottom to continue coming through. Now it will also allow a train coming from right to left to come through and stop at this red light and block the intersection. Well, the solution to that, honestly, is just more lights. You can either put another light further down, or you could use chain signals, but you don't need chain signals right here. We'll cover that in a later video. So to make sure this works, I'm going to go ahead and turn on all of the trains and let them ride around and we can watch it in action. I've purposely put a train in the middle of the intersection so that you can see this one is stopped. When I turn this one automatic, as soon as the rear of this car clears this light, both of these will turn green, and that will enable this car to move along. This light will stay red until it clears the next light, and this light will stay red until that one clears its own next light. If your rails are two-way instead of one-way, you'll need more lights, although it's not difficult to figure out where they go. You just pair them up, and this will allow trains to travel through the intersection going either left or right on the horizontal track, or up or down on the vertical track. Of course, if you have a single track that has trains going two different directions on it, it sounds like a recipe for disaster. Well, there are some ways to mitigate that, and I'll cover that in a future video. This has been the first video in my series on trains. We just finished belt balancers. I'm going to start simple with designs like these and work our way towards more complex train systems. If you have any special requests while I'm doing this series, just let me know. Well, that's all for now, engineers. Thanks for watching. If you want to make sure you see my future videos as soon as they come out, just click subscribe below.
She ain't making on the come up. I'm too busy chasing commas. I've been working on the come up. Talk shit, damn.